person, Jeremy Chase. I wasn't quite sure because I know there was written testimony as well. Oh, Mr. Chase, you're here. Come on up, please. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Vice President, members of the board. I'll make the most of my 3 minutes. My name is Jeremy Chase. I'm a Lyft customer. I've been riding Trimet since 2005. I'm also a veteran of the U.S. Air Force, fired under Don't Ask, Don't Tell with an honorable discharge. One of my reasons for moving here after losing direction and losing hope in Spokane was the amazing and comprehensive Portland coverage that Trimet provides. Since 2005, Trimet has been on a steady decline in service, frequency of service, competitive fares, cleanliness, safety, and friendliness. Had I known in 2005 that Trimet's accountability to its customers was already in a free fall, I would not have moved here. I was lucky for the first few years that I always seemed to find a place close to a max stop, but even then I started to notice that Trimet had serious safety issues when fights would break out very near to me, at least monthly, and once a young straight couple started to rally other members of their party to verbally queer bash a young gay couple, I stepped in the middle of that fiasco, and for the first time, I felt scared. It's important to note that the older Max cars with steps do not have emergency buttons for this kind of a scenario. Later, when I moved to Milwaukee, I found that the 33 was even worse. Not only were the clientele unbelievably homophobic, the bus drivers wouldn't do anything about it. To my dismay, when riding the 33, I've also found that drivers lack sensitivity training when dealing with these sorts of issues, including peoples with mental disabilities, such as myself. Once when I tried to explain to a driver that I needed a seat near the front because of my disability, I was repeatedly yelled at by the driver until other passengers started to chime in. In fact, that driver added insult to injury when a couple of elderly ladies boarded and the driver told them that I was rude and refused to move to the back. I didn't understand this behavior since that day the bus was packed and there was literally nowhere to go. Later, I filed a complaint with Trimet and filed a police report. Service to the inner Northeast on Sunday mornings is comically ludicrous. When trying to get to church at MCC located at the corner of 24th and Broadway, my choices are to ride the 33 into town and catch an eastbound Max or board the 6 after deboarding the 33 at the Goodwill stop. Either way, when I finally arrive at Wilder or Halsey, my choices for the eastbound buses are the 73, 77, and 9. All 3 come at the exact same time on Sunday mornings, so I frequently have to walk from MLK or the Lloyd Center to 24th. Lastly, when trying to catch the 75 in Milwaukee after visiting the shopping center that is half a mile away from any frequent service, I jaywalked in an attempt to catch the 75 to Milwaukee. I was passed up and the driver shouted through the door, "I'm not going to pick you up." I did not cause the driver to slam on his brakes like he has alleged, and so I sprinted across Highway 224 in the hopes that he would pick me up at the next stop. Of course, he did not. Later, I was strangled by this driver and another police report was filed. My biggest question to Trimet is, what should I do when this happens? Who should I turn to? Lately, I've been feeling as though my comments are all about as worthless as the time I vocalize them to an anonymous voicemail. I know that in some ways Trimet is doing the best they can. Just because Trimet is a federal program does not mean it or its employees are above the law. Frequency of bus and Max has dramatically declined, while the fares since 2005 have dramatically increased. Shouldn't I, as a frequent rider, get more for my steadily increasing fares? For example, raising Lyft fares would create a significant financial hardship. As you've already heard, many of us are on fixed incomes. I want to help, not just complain. I have gone on record many times with Trimet, and what I propose to you now is that I would be someone that would volunteer my time in establishing quality control. I have nothing to gain by this except to bring customer satisfaction back into focus. Since I ride all the time, it only seems fair that I and other riders and other people in this room get to judge the performance of Trimet on an ongoing basis, so long as there's someone within the organization that cares to listen. Thank you, members of the board and Madam Vice President, for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chase.